welcome to the Millcreek Government Channel. I'm Judy Zelina. Joining me on the program today, we have Leslie Mitchell, and Leslie is the founder of an organization called Lucy's First Step. Also with us, we have a counselor from this program, Erica Plosky. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies.
Thank you for having us here, Judy.
First off, though, my understanding is that Lucy's First Step, it's an organization that helps parents cope with, during a most difficult time, the loss of a child.
Yes.
So, Leslie, explain to our viewers a bit about the organization and also how you came to be involved or actually start this organization.
I guess how this started was in February of last year. My husband and I, we were supposed to have a baby last year, and in February I went to a doctor's appointment and found out that the baby no longer had a heartbeat. So I was 17 weeks, so I had to deliver her, and come to find out after her delivery that the umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck twice. And after that, I mean, obviously we were absolutely devastated. After that, we were searching for help in healing, and we went to a local support group that was it was absolutely wonderful. It was a nice place to go to talk to other parents who have also had the loss of a child. But when you have something like this happen, like I didn't even know things like this took place. Mm-hmm. When Lucy died, I had no idea that things like that could even happen. And then meeting other parents and learning about how many other things that could happen, it was a very, very difficult time for us. And after the support group, I guess I was still kind of lost in searching for help in learning how to heal from this. Something that I learned through this process is that healing becomes a choice. Grieving is easy because it just comes naturally to you. Making the decision to want to heal yourself is a very difficult thing. And I guess I was looking for some kind of help in how to do that. Okay. Something that the support group just didn't have.
And so this is how the inception of Lucy's First Steps began, through your own tragedy.
Yes.
Now, Erica, you're a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how did you get on board with this program?
Well, I'm a counselor in private practice,
okay,
and I'm very passionate about helping families that have lost children. Just to backstep a little bit, my own healing process involved the loss of several babies to miscarriage, and I know at that time my husband and I were lost as well in terms of how to deal with our multiple losses. So I really delved into studying the grief process and what it means to lose a child and how that impacts the family, it impacts the individual, and it can impact your career, your community, your church, and became very passionate about offering that as a service in my practice. And then through connective colleagues, I was invited to come present at Lucy's First Step at one of the meetings for the grief process support. And so I met Leslie and we clicked, and the rest is history.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Now, Leslie, you were saying when you lost Lucy, when you were looking for healing, why did you not feel that there was not the right type of community support for your actual situation? Because there was the support groups, but not exactly for this niche, correct?
Right. Like I said, the support group was great in the respect that it gave us a place to go and meet other
yes,
parents who have suffered the same type of a loss that
mm-hmm,
we have. The stories were all different, but the heartache that we were feeling over losing our children were the same. Mm-hmm. But I guess I was looking for some kind of a counselor to help us precipitate moving forward, and how do we make this loss a part of who we are and move on from here? And there just wasn't any of that. And I was really surprised that there was nothing in our community like that set up already. And I was talking to another mother who also had a child that died. She has a foundation that she runs out of Buffalo. And I was talking to her about it, and I said, I would like to see something where there's a counselor there, where it's a program where there's counselors that help you. And she was like, well, why don't you do that? And I'm like, you know what, I think I should. And that's how it all started is, I started thinking about it and what I have needed, and I came up with the program that we have now, and which is a 6-week program where our counselors are there to moderate the meetings, and they have a certain topic that they are supposed to discuss concerning grief, specifically grief of losing a child. And it's not just people like Pete and I who had an infant loss. It can be, if you had an older child who died from an illness, a car accident, no matter how old they are. You could have a teenager, you could have, someone in their 30s. We are open to any parent who suffered the loss of a child. And what I did is I put the program together, and I went to the Women's Hospital, and I met with an executive there, hoping that I could get them as a sponsor. And what ended up happening is they liked my idea so much they wanted to partner with us and took us under their wing. And now we are basically working underneath the Hammett Health Foundation.
Okay.
They offered to let us come under their 501c3, so we are completely tax exempt, and they took us under them, and it's been an absolutely wonderful connection for us because they have been extremely helpful. They give us a room at the Women's Hospital to hold our meetings. They've helped me with my flyers. They're helping me, get our mission out and our message about what we want to do. And it was almost like I was supposed to go there, and that's how this was supposed to happen, because it's just taken off, and it's becoming so much more than I could have hoped for.
It's a wonderful partnership.
Yes.
Very, very successful.
Yes.
You were talking about support groups, and you have different topics. What are some of the topics that you would discuss at these support groups? And how often do they meet, by the way?
How our program is set up is it's a 6-week program. It's every Monday when the program is scheduled. We do 6 weeks, we take 2 weeks off. We run another 6 weeks, take 2 weeks off. And it's on Monday nights at the UPMC Hammett Women's Hospital.
All right.
At 6:30 p.m.
Okay.
And all we ask is that you call and register so that we know that you're coming, so we can plan on how many people are going to be there. And each Monday night there's a different counselor there who has a different topic. And the way the program is set up is it's supposed to be a place for parents to start. This is a starting point. That's why we decided to call it Lucy's First Step. It's basically deciding to take the first step towards a path to healing, and that's the way the 6 weeks is set up.
Okay.
And then after the 6 weeks is over, we really recommend that if they need more, they get private counseling. I think that is so important. If you still need help, there's no shame in getting counseling. And that's the other thing that I think is really important for people to understand is if you need the counseling, please go and get it.
Right.
There's no shame in asking for help. This is not a natural experience for us.
No, it is not.
We are not programmed to lose our children. You need help with that when it happens. My husband goes to counseling, and he has no shame in talking about it, and has no problem talking to people. I still go to counseling. I think it's important for people to understand that there's no shame in that. And the other part of what we do in conjunction with that is if you need the counseling but don't have insurance or can't afford it because some insurances don't cover services like this, we have a financial aid package set up where we will help you financially to get private counseling as well.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And the thing I'd like to add about what makes Leslie's group unique is that it's a psychoeducational approach. So some support groups are open groups where people are coming and going, and it offers them a chance to tell their story and connect with other people. But this is unique in that there is a curriculum, there are certain topics, and the facilitator has a little bit more of a clinical basis to be able to implement some of the knowledge that's really needed. When you're grieving, I can only speak for myself, but I felt kind of lost And
I can imagine.
yeah, so I think it's helpful to be able to provide someone with information of what is normal, what can I expect, when can I expect it, how do I deal with the reactions of other people, and how long will this affect me? One of the topics that I provided information on and support on was, when am I going to feel normal again? And my message to the group is, you're not going to feel like you felt before your loss, but normal becomes a new kind of normal.
Okay.
As if you had a wound,
Right.
and that wound would heal, you're going to have that scar, but it's not going to always be an open, gaping wound.
Okay.
It with proper grieving, will heal.
So really what this program is doing, you're taking someone who is hurting and grieving and helping them to gain some strength to be able to continue their healing process, because boy, it does take strength to get through through the tragedy and through the pain that you're feeling.
Yeah.
One thing you mentioned, and I'd like to touch on this, because I think a lot of us feel this way. You talked about people's reactions. I know I probably have tended to be guilty of just don't say anything, because I don't know what to say. Mm-hmm. Maybe are you having a good day, and if I happen to say, Leslie, I am so sorry for your loss, am I going to bring the pain back to her? Am I going to hurt her? I don't think people deliberately want to be cold and cruel and not acknowledge the fact. We just don't know how to do it.
People are walking on eggshells around you. Mm-hmm. And personally, what I found comforting was if someone would at least acknowledge that I was in pain. The pain was there. When people would just kind of tippy-toe around and ignore that whole situation, it's like the elephant in the living room. But when someone would just place an arm or a hand on my shoulder and say, I'm so sorry, it gave me some validation, some affirmation that yes, I honor your pain, I respect your pain, and that people cared.
And I think too, in that situation, you can pretty much judge the individual's reaction. At that point, they may want to talk. Right. At that point, they may just say thank you and move on. Right. But at least you've acknowledged. And I would have to say I apologize, because I have been guilty of not saying anything because I don't know what to say.
Right. And sometimes you'll elicit some tears, and that's not a bad thing. You know, sharing grief, it's a common human thing. We're designed to be social creatures, and grief is part of that thing that we share as humans.
Okay.
So it's not a bad thing to elicit some tears, but then also to provide some comfort.
Right. And it can be hurtful when people act like it didn't happen. You know, somebody just asked me not too long ago, well, how are you doing? And I wasn't sure how to answer that, because it'd been such a long time since anybody had asked me that. Mm-hmm. You know, and this really hasn't been very long for us, because Lucy had just died last February, so we're only about a year and a half out of this, which when you suffer a loss like that is not a very long time at all. No. And I just wasn't really sure how to respond to her, except to say, you know what, I'm okay, and thank you for asking, because I haven't heard anybody say that for such a long time. Mm-hmm. And it's not hurtful, because like Erica said, the grief is always there. It's just, it becomes a part of you. It's just, you learn to give it a place.
I think it's wonderful when people can take their pain and honor that grieving process and give it some kind of meaning. Mm-hmm. Like Leslie and her husband did. Instead of just sitting there with that grief and that pain, they've done something with it. Some good has come out of it.
It certainly has.
And that shows me that, you know, that those folks are empowered. Mm-hmm. They might not feel very strong in the beginning, but to be channeling that is a wonderful, very healing process.
Now, Erica, do you ever find parents that may come to the meetings, may start the meetings, it's almost like that they've shut down. They're there because someone said you should go here, and they've shut down, and they just don't feel like they need any outside help.
Yeah, and everybody grieves at a different place.
There's no right or wrong.
There's no right or wrong. Grief can get complicated. If we have other things going on in our lives that are stressful or unresolved, then grief certainly can become very complicated. And to those folks that aren't ready to talk or aren't ready to share, that's okay. At least being around other people and being in a warm, supportive environment is very important. And sometimes listening is just as, if not more, important than actually expressing.
Now, there's more involved in the loss of a child than just the grieving process, correct? There's some financial burdens that may occur, correct?
Right.
How do you help with that?
That's another one of the things that our foundation offers is, you know, after Lucy died, we had to have a burial, which is something that no parent prepares for. You know, you just aren't, you never prepare for burying a child.
No.
So what we did was we have a package that we put together. I've been working with John Orlando from the Orlando Funeral Homes. He has been absolutely wonderful in helping us with this. But we have a package put together that assists families with infant burials, and it covers everything. It'll cover a plot, an opening and closing, you know, a casket or an urn, and a headstone, which some parents never get headstones for their children because they can't afford it.
Yeah.
And we've had 2 families so far that we've been able to help with the burial of their children. So I'm very pleased that we've been able to do that for them, because, you know, otherwise I don't know what they would have done.
You know, you don't stop and think you know, the average person, right away they think, oh my gosh, how horrible, what a heartache, but they don't realize everything else you have to go through. That you, like you said, you are not prepared.
Right.
You are not prepared to bury this child.
Right.
No, and it's not something that you even think about. And when they, you know, I mean, for us, ours was, we were already in the hospital. And when they came to us and said, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know. What do you do?
What are my options?
Right, and you don't know. And, you know, this is something where, you know, we're going to make sure that we get around to all of the funeral homes. We want them all to know this is what we're doing.
Okay.
And we want to make sure that we get it around to the other hospitals, just not Hammett, so that they know when you have something like this happen, we're here and this is what we have to offer. So it's a very quick, easy, you know, option for families because it covers everything.
So you've really looked, you ladies have really looked at the whole picture of everything that's involved.
We're trying. We're still kind of tweaking it a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Because we're just getting, you know, our momentum going. So, you know, as we go along, we're discovering other things that are important to add. So we're getting there.
Well, what do you actually perceive your mission, the mission of Lucy's First Step?
I would say it's probably a couple things. First of all, I want to make sure that we reach out to all of the parents who have suffered a loss like this and let them know that healing is okay, and encourage them to make that choice to start the path to healing. And second, when they make that choice, I want them to know that we're here to help them, that they're not alone, that we are a place that they can come, and that we're here to help you through all of it if we can. We have a place for you to start. If even some people, you know, Erica will tell you, some people don't do well with the group setting. And that's why we have the private counseling aspect of this setup as well, because some people just do much better in the private counseling than they do with the group. Okay. And I wanted to make sure that we covered all of it. So I guess I just want to make sure that if a parent needs us, that we are here. I don't want any parent to ever feel that they don't have a place to go.
I know when we were talking before the show, I was talking with Leslie, and really what I found so amazing about your organization too is that if somebody needs some direction and it's really not what Lucy's First Step is designated to do, you've got other resources that you can at least give them some direction, because I think there'd be nothing worse than someone needing help and then someone saying, no, that's not us.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So you have other
Right.
resources you're getting in place also, aren't you?
Yes, I don't ever want to tell someone, I'm sorry, but we can't help you.
Right.
You know, if it's something where, you know, maybe a grandparent comes to us and says, you know, I don't know what to do.
Right.
We can refer them to our counselors. I would have no problem with them coming through our 6-week program. So, I mean, we're setting up some other things like that.
This is wonderful. What a wonderful organization. Now, I'm sure you've had some success stories, even though you're new. But I think everybody that sets foot in one of your meetings is truly a success story. But what are some of the maybe a couple occasions that just did your heart good?
Well, like I said, I know that we've had 2 families that we've been able to help with the infant burials so far, and the first family that we were able to help, it was very moving because they were just so grateful because they just didn't have the resources to do it, and I don't know, it makes me feel really good that we were there for them. You know, and we did our first 6-week program. We just finished it, and we got very good feedback from the people who went through it, and some of them who before weren't interested in counseling have now said, you know what, I think I need to do this, which I think is great.
Wonderful.
Yes, I'm just very pleased with how it worked out.
Good job, Erica. Now, I know an organization like yours needs funding. Do you have any type of fundraisers, annual fundraisers?
Our main fundraiser is a golf tournament that we do every summer. This past summer was our second one, and it was very successful. We raised over $10,000.
Wonderful.
Yes, I was very pleased. But you know, it's the community was absolutely wonderful. They are so generous here in Erie. We couldn't do it without the generosity of the people here. And so everybody knows the money that we raise, obviously, this all stays here. This is a community program, and those funds are used to help people in our community. So it stays here with us. So the golf tournament was our main fundraiser. We do that every July. I think this year it's going to be either the first or second Friday in July. We're not sure yet. So when I come knocking on your door and asking for donations, I'm hoping that everybody will be very generous, because obviously the more funds we have, the more things that we're going to be able to do. You know, the Women's Hospital approached us about providing bereavement packages, which of course I'm not going to say no to that. So, you know, little things like that, we'll be able to do more the more funds that we have. And our golf tournament was very successful, but you know, I'm thinking we might do another fundraiser here or there just to kind of beef up our fund a little bit. In November, we are going to be the beneficiaries of a charitable basketball game that the Millcreek Police Association is doing with the McDowell coaching staff.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yes, yes, I'm really looking forward to that. That should
So,
be a good
so
time.
you are the charity benefit.
Yes.
And again, if somebody out there is looking to do a charity benefit and wondering, oh, who do you think is in need of these funds that we raise? Again, Lucy's First Step, you would always be welcome.
Yes, and
welcome
I will
anybody
do whatever
to do a
they
benefit.
need me to do to help them make it successful.
Okay, how can any of our viewers contact somebody if they're interested in the program or interested in donating, helping with fundraisers? Who would they call?
All of our information is listed on our webpage, which is www.hammetthealthfoundation.org/Lucy. That takes you right to our page,
Okay.
and everything that you need to know is on there. Or they can email me at lucysfirststep@gmail.com.
Okay. Ladies, thank you so much for getting the word out. Again, Leslie, wonderful, wonderful organization, you know, that came through from a time of tragedy.
Well, I can't thank you enough for having us here.
Oh, it
This
was
is
my
going to help
pleasure.
us reach a lot of people and let them know that we're here and encourage them to start using us.
So thank you so much for taking the time, Leslie and Erica. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you as well. Thank you.
Viewers, if you have any questions, please visit their website. Till next time, have a wonderful day.